In this video, you might hear some things that may sound outlandish to some, or perhaps even paranoid or schizophrenic, depending on how you look at it. So refrain from your comments about that type of thing unless you're truly trying to understand and understand what is going on. And for the Regal Change old timers, you're aware that when I say understand, I mean to say that you understand something. There's something inward that is going on. You don't just intellectually know something. You're actually, in your heart, you feel that it's the truth. So your aura and your life force, your glow, whatever it is that you want to call it, is going to be fire when you are connected to the cosmic electricity that is the sun. Now, I've often talked about sungazing on the Regal Change channel as well. And for the Regal Change old timers, you'll also know that specifically I've been sungazing a lot more over the past few months. And I've been documenting data, and I've been documenting everything that has to do with my relationship to sungazing and what happens when I sungaze and whatnot. And in the mornings and evenings, I can look at the sun now without it hurting at all. And I can do so for at least 20 minutes. And usually when I first started, because I've been doing this practice for years, but I never did it for a certain amount of time. I just kind of did it here and there, not taking it too seriously. But now it's become a ritual. Now it's become a type of practice that I do. And I found that there's a divine connection that our bodies have to the sun and this cosmic electricity. And I've always known that it's there, right? Like sunscreen. I've always known sunscreen is just like a poison. And I've always known that the chemtrails that we see in the sky are kind of, they're there because they don't want us to actually be in contact with this divine source. In fact, on a consciousness level, they want us to be as disconnected from light in our bodies as possible. And who's they? Well, the ominous they. Whoever they is, we don't really know who they is. We just know that it's they. It's this ominous they. They're the shadow people behind the scenes. They're, Dr. I was going to say Dr. Oz. It's the Wizard of Oz. I guess it could be a doctor, depending on how you look at it. Dr. Oz. Oh man, that's funny. It's Oz. It's the Oz behind the curtain. It's the man behind the curtain who appears to be Oz. Because the more I go outside, like lately, I just want to be outside. I just want to be outside doing things. I don't even want to be inside. It's not that I don't want to be inside. It's just that I would rather be outside. I would rather be connected to this source, the source of light. And I'm not saying that the sun is God necessarily, but what I'm saying is that there's in this construct that we live in, the divine source that we have is directly connected to the sun to some degree, because our bodies cannot actually chill out and rest. There are two types of nervous systems, right? There's the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. I don't even want to call it sympathetic nervous system or parasympathetic nervous system anymore. I don't want to call it nervous system. I understand that, there's the nerves, there's the nerve endings that are in our body. I get it. But because of the language, and because language can be such a profound way to view life, and it can be part of our direct correlation with life, I don't want to use the word nervous. I don't want to use the word nervous at all. I want to use the word, in fact, solar timeline interface. This is our solar timeline interface. This meat suit which has a nervous system that's actually what I'm going to call the solar timeline interface. Because the more that you associate and calm yourself down with the parasympathetic nervous system, because that's your digestive / calm state of mind, whereas the sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight, the more you're in touch with the sunlight, the more you're in touch with the cosmic energy of the universe, the more you're activating your parasympathetic nervous system. Now, this is actual psychological literature and research. You can look at gray matter in the brain, and the more gray matter there is in the brain, the smaller that your amygdala usually is, which is in charge of the emotions, specifically like anger or frustration, restlessness, all these things. And you have more peace within yourself, and there's a greater communication between the neurons in your mind. So on a psychological level, this is actually very much so making sense. Now, the language that I'm using is going to be penetrating your unconscious mind, but one thing that we have to recognize is that the unconscious mind really is all that there is. Okay, the unconscious mind, like our consciousness is only there because we think it's there. The ego is there. The ego, as Carl Jung says, is the true will of God, in the sense that we have to have an ego for the sense of survival, for the sense of procreation, and for the feeling of self-discovery. But what you really are and what I really am is a happening. This is all energy. This is all cosmic energy dancing with itself. It just is. And when you know this, when you have a good relationship with the light, you're going to naturally be glowing more. Now, this is not the narcissistic type of light that you might see on a narcissist. The narcissist has a light. I'm sure you've seen this before, where the narcissist has this like vortex presence to them. Like, they are very magnetic, but in a negative way. They're very, and I say negative and positive strictly as like magnetizing properties. I don't necessarily mean positive as in heavenly or negative as in hellishness. I'm just saying there's a polarity there. There's a yin and yang, so to speak, right? So have you ever noticed that these narcissists are usually fake tanned? Like, they're spray tanned, or they go to the tanning salon or whatever. They don't actually go outside. Have you ever noticed that? You ever noticed a lot of these women as well? They'll get plastic surgery, or they'll get nose jobs, or they'll get, lip liposuction. I was going to call it liposuction. I guess it's, what real difference is there? But you see what I'm getting at, right? You see the point is most of the people that have artificialness to themselves and add artificialness to themselves, like hair extensions, all that, I don't think there's necessarily an issue. Like, it doesn't inherently mean anything. It just means that they want to make themselves artificial. The intelligence that you might be communicating with might be real, in the sense that there's some kind of intelligence as far as animalistic intelligence. Most women nowadays do not have self-awareness, but there are a few that do. And those types of women usually have a good relationship with the cosmic energy of life. So this positive cosmic energy of life is made manifest and actualized through accepting yourself. And the more you accept yourself, the more you get in line with your parasympathetic nervous system, or what I'm calling your parasympathetic solar timeline interface. Because what your nervous system does is it processes time, and it processes truth in time, and it processes stored emotions. Like, there is actually, psychological literature evidence that trauma is stored in the body. So until you can see it within yourself and you can heal it within yourself, you're going to have that stored energy there, and it's going to be a block in your nervous system, which you can think about it as an absence of light inside your body. So this absence of light inside your body is going to either encourage you to see something more, or it's going to discourage you into seeing something that's not really there. And you might convince yourself that there's this delusion that you need to think is real, because the delusion itself is real, but it's not true. The delusion that you experience is not the truth. You can be in a delusion and not know you're in a delusion, right? And so, how do you know you're in a delusion? Well, be one with the cosmic energy of this life. Be able to recognize that the light, I mean, you can learn a lot about life by looking at how the sun behaves. What is going on? All these people out here, like, it was super quiet, and now all of a sudden I talk about the cosmic energy and how to get closer to yourself, and everybody's going crazy. That's the cosmic energy right there. So this cosmic energy of life is when you are one with the energy. There is no more you, because you only exist because you think you do. These are not concepts. This is a actualized truth that you experience only when you drop for a moment. You drop the concept of who you think you are. And it's actually kind of scary when you do this, but it's also very liberating. Because you realize that all the things that you were forcing yourself to believe, or that you thought you had to believe, were actually just like these peasantries that were trying to keep you in a peasant mode, rather than in your king or queen mode. And I had someone in the Regal Academy message me earlier today, and they asked me, they said, have you ever experienced this feeling of like things are going good and I don't know how to handle it. Like, I feel like self-sabotage is around the corner. It's like, well, yes, I have. And that's part of the process. Because you're noticing just how absent of light you really were. You're noticing just how much of a proclivity that you had toward not engaging in the light you had. And that can be kind of eerie. It can be kind of shocking to see the superfluousness of the way you existed, because you see yourself and you're like, I existed like that? Like, that's really who I thought I was? No, it's like when I don't do this very often, but maybe like once a year or so, I'll go back and look through my older videos from like 4 years ago now. It'll be 4 years this October, November, when I started this YouTube channel. And I go through and I look at the old videos and I'll be like, man, what in the world? Like, you kind of cringe at yourself. You're like, oh, dude. Because I know that might happen with me now. But I'm not going to act as if, because it doesn't do anything useful for you. You're not actually living life. You're not actually living life with the cosmic energy. You're not actually glowing with the cosmic energy, because that's what glowing is. You're glowing because you're one with the cosmic energy. And you just see what you were and how you were, and you're like, okay, that's like a video journal, right? Because you can look back and you can see like the video journal map of where you were in your own psyche through time and in timelessness, and you can now see yourself in a new perspective, and you can think to yourself, okay, Thaddeus from 3.5 years ago, man, he was just doing his best with the knowledge that he had. And he knew that he had something to offer. He just didn't know how to do it. And so he was just doing it to figure it out. I mean, he was at least stumbling toward the light. He was at least stumbling into the cosmic universe to realize more so about himself. Because that's all that this is. This whole existence is one mind, is one being. It's expressed in different forms. And I've had a very strange experience recently where I'm starting to fall in love with everybody I meet. And I don't know exactly what to do with it. Like even just... do I want to talk about this? I don't know. I'll leave that for another time. The main message there, because I won't get into the details, but the main message is that it's not like there's nothing wrong with seeing the reflection of your own love in other people, because you can see that because you're the same being. I had an experience on psychedelics. I took a pretty high dose, and I had them with my cousin-in-law at the time, and my roommate. He was not around for this, but we had called him on the phone, and I remember I could hear his voice on the phone, and I could feel that through the electricity he was there, like his energy was there, like he was. And he felt like, because he had taken them on his own, but he was on his own at his place, and I was with my cousin-in-law, and we were at his place. But we had called my roommate on the phone to have a conversation, and we were like, no, dude, you are in the room. And he's like, no, I know I am, and I feel like I'm in the room, and he was like, and I feel like you're in my room. And I said, yeah, we feel like we're in your room too. Because we were just there in spirit. And then I had the sense of like, we're all the same thing. We're all the same thing. And I just realized I couldn't articulate what I was seeing properly because I wasn't quite ready for that experience. But I just kept repeating to myself, we're all the same thing. We're in the fourth dimension. We're all the same thing. We're in the fourth dimension. We think we're in the third dimension, but we're in the fourth dimension. We're all the same thing. And I just kept thinking this and saying this and doing this. Oh, we had a moment of silence. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I don't know how loud that is, but some dude is weed whacking his yard over there. But this is just part of life. It's just part of life is just to live. Like the whole meaning of life is to live it. And live it totally. You don't need, like, the meaning comes from you just being. And I would also say that rituals and practices, like things that you'll do consistently, create and generate meaning within you and within others. Like it's like relationships, right? I have somebody that I'm doing one-on-one sessions with, and I've been doing them pretty much weekly for almost 2 years, over 2 years. And congratulations if he's watching this, because he just got engaged, actually. And he had a routine with his woman. Like every Saturday or Sunday, they would meet up and do something. Like they had a very set regimen. Like through the week, they wouldn't always see each other, or they wouldn't always talk. But every weekend they would get together. And so they created like a ritual, something consistent. And they manifested and actualized a healthy relationship through time because they were consistent with each other and they knew what they were getting into. They knew who each other was and is. And so they just were, they just were being together, but they had an experience. They had a set date every week where they would get together and they would come together and, share the common life that they had together, and then they would go away and live their own lives. And now they're going to be joined together in a marriage. Now, I myself, I'm not going to get into my views on marriage in this video, but the point is that no matter who you're doing, like I play racquetball with these guys every morning now. Like 5 days a week, I'm playing racquetball with these guys. I have a ritual. And it kind of grounds you, right? It grounds you in the experience. I'm not saying that it's always going to do this, but you can create the meaning of your own experiences through time. Man, this must be a powerful video because we've got another dude weed whacking somewhere over here now. Really, the main point that I want to get across is develop your relationship with the cosmic energy of life, and you'll see that it's all just dancing with itself. And it's a beautiful thing. And you don't have to worry. Everything is working out for you. And when you trust that, you're going to glow because you're in tune with the cosmic energy. So with all that being said, I hope that this message was useful and insightful for you. I still have 2 spots for my Godlike Mastery offer that I have for this month. And also, if you want to set up a one-to-one session with me or join the Regal Academy, please do so. Good grief. Otherwise, I hope you stay blessed. Peace. Until next time.